And the whole idea of paying a commission, whether it's 20 apples, whether it's 40 apples, whether it's 1,000 apples, doesn't matter how many apples you're getting. The idea is a buyer's agent has a fiduciary duty, a responsibility, not just to tell them the truth, because we all have that, but to represent their best interests for getting repairs done, getting things, negotiating the best price, but also in terms of the commission. Because if house A is offering 0 apples and house B is offering 20 apples, but house C is offering 50 apples, well, I'm going to get paid the most apples if I go to house C. But is that the best house for my client?
Right.
That's the issue.
Yeah.
And so this change, again, one MLS in New York, but what they're basically saying is, okay, now the seller is not offering that, so the buyer has to negotiate that on their own, right? That sounds great in theory, but the first problem I see is if the buyer is going to the seller to negotiate the commission, is the buyer doing that or is the agent?
Yeah.
Okay. So if I'm going to you have a house for sale and you're not offering as many apples as I want, and I'm negotiating that with you, what am I giving up in the negotiation for my client to get more apples? Because there's a trade-off somewhere, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
If I'm going to get you to pay me 40 apples, well, then maybe I'm not getting as much closing costs for my client. Maybe I'm not getting them the home warranty that they would have otherwise gotten. Maybe we're only going to get thing A and thing B repaired instead of thing A, B, and C, because the seller is going to want the most money still.
Right.
Which is fair. It's their house, right?
100%. Yeah.
Or the other option is, well, okay, the sellers, you're only offering, 20 apples. I really need 40 apples for my fee. So, okay, Mr. Buyer, you're going to have to make up the other 20 apples. What did I just do?
Right. And then it comes to the question. Yeah.
Reduced their purchase power so that I can make sure. Now, I mean, so again, sometimes when you have buyer agency agreement the way it is now, sometimes that can still happen. It can. I have buyer agency agreements that I have my client sign. It says a certain percentage, but I've never once held a client to that if the MLS was offering something different. But if the MLS offers nothing, that's a whole different thing.
Yeah.
So what do you see this looking like going forward?
And I think too, it also lends the thing, do we get into what are the ethics complaints going to look like when it comes to putting contract over the client, commission over contract? What's that going to look like? And so there's going to be a lot of unknowns. And is everything going to change immediately? I think we're going to see a huge spike in different areas, right? We're going to see people saying, I'm not paying that. Well, now what's going to happen? So